What's going on, everyone? So, the Los Angeles Lakers appear to be and have entered officially the Deandre Ayton or bust, right? All of the other kind of free agents that made sense at the center position are all off the board. Clint Capella's gone, Brook Lopez is gone, right? Luke Cornett is gone, although all those guys I prefer in a backup role. Clint Capella's the only guy that I look at and go like, he's the guy that I would have been okay with as your starting center. Also, all three of those guys got paid, right? Luke Cornett got like $11 million a year, roughly. You have Brook Lopez, who got $9 million a year for 2 years, and then you got a Clint Capella, who is making $8 million a year. I think it was 3 years, $24 million. Lakers probably weren't paying that to any of those guys. So, how realistic were those guys? But also, as soon as Deandre Ayton became available, it changed everything for those guys, right? Because as soon as Deandre Ayton became an option for the Lakers, I'm sure all those centers were like, why go to the Lakers now? Right? Because, for example, Clint Capella. Now, it would have made sense like, hey, I could take $5 million and go start with the Lakers and be their primary starter, or I could go to Houston and take $8 million and be their backup, right? Potentially the third big, right? Well, if regardless I'm coming off the bench and going to be a backup, I might as well go with the more money, right? I might as well go get the $8 million as opposed to $5 million and plus state tax and all that other stuff, right? Same thing with Brook Lopez. If I'm Brook Lopez, why would I want to go take a vet minimum to go be a backup on the Lakers when I could go to a team like the Clippers, get $7 million more, and be a backup, right? Play the same role. It doesn't make sense for those teams or for those players, right? So to me, I looked at it as like, as soon as Deandre Ayton became available, one, everybody was like, he's going to the Lakers. It made the most sense. I think everybody kind of came to that conclusion. And I think everyone knows he's going to the Lakers. I think the Lakers know he's going to the Lakers. Why do I think that he's going to the Lakers? Because we got the report that Deandre Ayton got $25.5 million as opposed to what was believed was going to be $20 million. The reason that's important is because the thought was, okay, he's going to take a $15 million discount, but then he's going to go sign a full mid-level exception and make the difference, right? Well, the fact that he got $25 million means he basically made an extra $5 million than what was originally thought. Lakers went and signed Jake LaRavia. They signed him to a $6 million a year deal, right? Okay. Well, that just lines up perfectly with the amount of money that Deandre Ayton would now demand, which would be $8 million. So I think you look at the reports, you look at kind of what happened, you look at the fact that Deandre Ayton is the best center the Lakers could probably get, even via trade. And what, Lakers are going to jeopardize that for Jake LaRavia, who I think is an excellent signing. I think he's going to be a fantastic player for the Lakers. I think it's a great move. Young, versatile, tons of upside, all of that. Especially if you go make a trade with Rui and all these other things. Like, he's a guy that could kind of fill in the Rui role, right? Why would you jeopardize Deandre Ayton for that? Also, you can always figure it out with him later, right? Go get Ayton and then figure it out. Plus, Ayton's the bigger need. You lost Dorian Finney-Smith essentially to go get Ayton, right? Everything changed when the Lakers when Ayton became available. Dorian Finney-Smith left in order for the Lakers to free up the full mid-level. I know there were the talks about, Rob Pelinka was talking about this. I just don't buy those. I don't buy it. Like, Rob Pelinka, look, even if you think he's the biggest idiot in the world, right? That's career you know what, right? Like, that's it. He's done. No one's going to trust him. No one's going to want to talk to him. Players are going to you got to get rid of him and you're done. Like, he used to be an agent. You don't think he knows how agents operate and talk? Sometimes the simple answer is the correct answer, right? Not everything has to be some crazy conspiracy or drama. Sometimes the simple answer is the best answer. What's the simple answer? That they either A, couldn't align on a long-term deal, which didn't make sense for the Lakers. And there's also reports the Lakers want to keep cap flexibility in 2027. If you sign at that point, 36, 37-year-old Dorian Finney-Smith, it just doesn't make sense for Lakers, right? Or the Lakers saw DeAndre Ayton became available and realized we can't keep Dorian Finney-Smith because the only way we're going to be able to sign Ayton is via the full mid-level exception. Right? So I think that's why Dorian Finney-Smith left, in order to free up your full mid-level. So then you're going to free up your full mid-level, you're going to lose Dorian Finney-Smith, and then you're going to jeopardize and potentially lose DeAndre Ayton over Jake LaRavia. I don't think that's a thing. So I think the Lakers know that he's coming. I think they know at the price they're going to have to sign him because they signed a guy with the difference. Right? Also, you have Chris Haynes, who's over here just like, hey, is he going to the Lakers? Well, he's doing interviews and they're like asking him, and he's like doing everything he can to like tiptoe around it. And he clearly knows like what's going to happen. Again, it's the worst kept secret in basketball right now, right? That he's going to the Lakers. Again, it's a very real possibility he doesn't, right? Because nothing's official until it's official, right? Until he is signed on that dotted line, whether it's today or tomorrow or whatever, a week from now, until he is actually signed. Nothing is guaranteed. Until you know he is coming, nothing is guaranteed, right? But again, I think that they know. They have no choice though at this point, right? You have to get him, because if you don't get him now, now what? See, because if you get him, everything's perfect, right? You get him, sign another free agent or two, right? And then now instead of making, using all your assets to go get a center, right? Now you can use your assets to go get perimeter help and replace Dorian Finney-Smith, right? Where if you miss out on Ayton, now you have to go trade for a center. And guess what? Every team knows. There's already reports that teams are trying to fleece the Lakers for a center because they know that they're desperate. What happens if you miss out on the one guy that you were supposed to get? You don't think teams are going to try to fleece you even more? You don't think you're even in an even more desperate state? Of course you are. It is DeAndre Ayton or bust for the Lakers at this point. Wholehearted, without a doubt. There is no ands, ifs, buts about it. If we get news that DeAndre Ayton goes somewhere else, Lakers are in trouble. Lakers are in big trouble. If we get news that the Lakers just signed for DeAndre Ayton, everything's going to go, everything's perfect, right? You got your center, potentially for next 6+ years if it works out, but you got your center, got a young, versatile wing. You can go sign a couple more free agent guys, and you have all your tradable assets to now go make another move. Perfect. It's the position Lakers want to be in. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion. Pass question you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments. Should have liked the video. Subscribe to the channel. See you in the next one. Thank you.